3 जो है उसका जो सबसे पहला जो हमारे पास एमसीक्यूज है वो है अ कंप्यूटर सिस्टम कंसिस्ट ऑफ विच टू प्राइमरी कंपोनेंट्स। इसमें हार्डवेयर एंड सॉफ्टवेयर, ठीक है, 2 प्राइमरी कंपोनेंट्स हैं जिस कंप्यूटर सिस्टम के। अभी हमने ये शॉर्ट नोट्स में पढ़ा भी है, ठीक है। हार्डवेयर कैन नॉट परफॉर्म एनी टास्क ऑन इट्स ओन, इट नीड्स टू बी इंस्ट्रक्टेड। ऑप्शन नंबर 3 के अंदर है व्हाट इज डिफाइंड एज अ सेट ऑफ प्रोग्राम्स दैट टेल्स द कंप्यूटर हाउ टू परफॉर्म टास्क, सॉफ्टवेयर। क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 के अंदर है व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ हार्डवेयर कंपोनेंट मेंशन इन द टेक्स्ट, लैंग्वेज ट्रांसलेटर्स। उसके बाद फिर है हमारे पास क्वेश्चन नंबर 5 है सॉफ्टवेयर इज द अपोजिट ऑफ डैश व्हिच डिस्क्राइब द फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ अ कंप्यूटर, हार्डवेयर। Software consists of programs, documentation and configuration of data. Next हमारे पास है different sets of software can be loaded on the same dash to perform different tasks, hardware. An example of hardware component that carries out tasks is its processor. Which component constitutes the physical aspect of the computer, hardware? Next हमारे पास है which is used to write a report या run payroll program, software. Software is primarily divided into how many categories? 2. Which software controls and manages the actual operations of computer hardware, system software. System software act as a dash between the user and computer hardware, bridge. Which of the following is an example of system software, operating system? Application software is a used to solve dash life to task or problem, daily or routine. MS Word, MS Excel are example of application software. Which type of software include device drivers, system? A language translate like a compiler is a type of system software. Skype is categorized as application software. Which software is used for a specific user task like writing and browsing, application software. An operating system acts as an between the user and hardware intermediary. According to the text, an operating system is like a government. Which of the following is not an operating system mentioned? Skype. The operating system provides services to application programs. Linux and Unix are example of system software and operating systems. What manages all computer components and its operations? Operating system. Microsoft Windows is a type of operating system. Sun Solaris is an example of operating system. OS manages hardware resources. Which OS is mentioned along Windows and Mac? Solaris. Software designed for the demand of particular customer is called custom built software. Bank software is an example of custom built software. Software developed for sale to general use is called packages software. Nadra software is an example of custom built software. Departmental software falls under the category of custom built software. When a customer purchases software according to their needs from a store, it is usually packaged. Which is not an example of application software? Device driver, क्योंकि system software है. Google Chrome is a type of application software क्योंकि हेल्प करता है यूजर की, कस्टमर की. Adobe Acrobat Reader is an example of application software. WinRAR is used for file compression, application software. A utility program is a type of system software. Utility programs are used to solve common problems of software and hardware. Utility program helps in reducing file size, file compression software. Which program helps recognize files on a disk to improve performance? Disk Drafter. Which of the following is a utility program? Antivirus. A program used to remove unwanted software is called an uninstaller. Firewall is a category as a utility program. Disk cleanup is used to remove unnecessary files. SanDisk is an example of utility program. Task Manager is used to manage system tasks. Software that a user can try for free for a limited time is called shareware. When a tripod ends for shareware, the user must purchase or uninstall. Software that is free for personal use forever is called freeware. Freeware user can note it or sell it to other, make change to. Software with no copyright owner or license restriction is public domain. In which software is the source code publicly available for everyone to modify? Open source software. Public domain software source code is publicly available. Which software requires a paid license for commercial use? Freeware. Open source software can be customized with guidelines set by the creator. Shareware is a typically download from the internet. A computer language is a way of communication between the user and the computer. The rules of computer language are called syntax. A computer understands only the language of 0 and 1. Language that is close to the computer is called low-level language. Low-level language are divided into machine language, assembly language. Which language is directly understandable by the computer without translator? Machine language. Machine language consists of binary numbers 0 or 1. Which language use names instead of numbers to make programmable easier? Assembly language. Machine language is difficult for the programmer to understand. Assembly language falls between machine language and high-level languages. Language that is close to human language is called high-level language. High-level languages are written like English language. High-level languages are easy for the programmer but difficult for the computer. Which language was developed in 1917 by Nicolas with Pascal? Pascal was named after a famous French mathematician. What does BASIC stand for? Beginner All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. Which language was developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972 at Bell Labs? C++. COBOL is primarily used business applications. What does COBOL stand for? Common Business Oriented Language. Fortran stands for Formula Translation. Fortran is used for mathematical and scientific purpose. Which language is used for the server and client networks? Code programming, Java. Which language is used to teach programming technique? Pascal. C is described as a programming language, procedural. The programmer is more comfortable with high-level languages. What is used to convert high-level code into the machine code? Language translators. Language translators are also called language processors. A translator that translates a program as a whole is called compiler. A compiler is used in which language according to the next? C and C++. Are translators that execute code line by line is called interpreter. Interpreter are used in web browser like Google Chrome. Which translators converts assembly code into the machine code? Assembler. If a programming is translated one instruction at a time, which translator is being used in interpreter? The source program is what the programmer writes. A compiler converts high-level language into the low-level language? Machine language. Internet Explorer use which type of a translator? Interpreter. The diagram shows assembly code going into the become machine code? Assembler. Which of the following is a node type of language? Processor. Machine code is also known as binary code. High-level language is easier to understandable and use the program. जी बिल्कुल, मैंने आपके साथ जो है ये आप अपने स्लाइड्स दे सकते हैं कि जो मैंने आपके साथ शेयर